Hello everyone, this is Ayushi Sharma. I welcome you back to my YouTube channel Learning Bridge. So today let's talk about Scrum Artifacts. So what is Scrum Artifact? Artifact is basically a document which is created to represent the work which is done as part of the sprint. So of course if we are documenting something, it will help us to increase the transparency, and of course we can track the progress of the work. So let's say I am a QA and I wanted to understand that what the developer has exactly done in his code, then I do have an artifact to understand that component. So that way it's easier for me, because maybe as a QA I don't have that much understanding of the code, but of course in layman terms, in general language, I can understand what this piece of code exactly does, or what functionality was tested. So that's how artifacts helps the different team members within the Scrum. Okay, then moving ahead, let's talk about product backlog now. So I think if you have watched my previous videos, we have talked a lot about product backlog and sprint backlog. So I just thought to have a separate slide on that to, in order to discuss that, because if you are planning to work on Agile or on Scrum, you should definitely know these keywords, because they will be used like, lot of, number of times. Okay, so coming back to product backlog. And also, I just want to mention these videos are equally helpful for, anybody who is maybe pursuing BTech, or, not just BTech, anyone who is aiming to be in the corporate culture. These methodologies, these frameworks are very much in use, so it will benefit a lot of people. So with that intent, I have, created these videos. So coming back to product backlog now. So this is a list of work items. So consider it as a, maybe in layman terms, you can say it's a to-do list. What all items you have on your plate, right? So now if I talk it with respect to product, what all things needs to be done so that this product can get ready, right? And since it's agile, so you don't have to stick to a set of number of items. You can increase them, you can decrease them. So that is what we call as product backlog refinement. It's a process where we will further break down the product backlog, because as we move ahead in a sprint, or over the period of time, we get, it's usual, right? We get a better understanding of what work is coming in, and based on that we further break down the items into smaller work items. All right, then let's talk about sprint backlog also. So of course we know, right? We discussed previously also that sprint backlog is part of product backlog only. So if I talk it at a higher level, sprint backlog is a subset of the product backlog. It will be generated from the product backlog only, and items are selected for a particular sprint. But from where? Again, from the product backlog only. Now the developers are there who will be further breaking down the activities, and they will try to explain you things that okay, these activities are there, and this is the list of items we have to do, and product owner is going to be there. So they will help us to understand the work items better, right? So Scrum team is free to update the sprint backlog during the entire sprint. So the developers have the entire control of the sprint backlog, but to understand the functionality, because we know, right, product owner is a person who has the best, or I would say a better understanding on the business aspect of anything we are doing. So they will be guiding the developers in that way, understanding that functionality wise what it is exactly, whatever they are working on. Okay, now let's move ahead on increment. So in what is increment? Every sprint will have some sort of increment. So increment is a step towards the product goal, and every increment will be added to the prior increment, which will form the product. So there is no cap to having one or multiple increments. There can be multiple in a single sprint, and within that, like the increment which was created within the sprint, it will be presented in the sprint review also. Of course, everybody would like to know that what we have achieved in our maybe 4-week sprint or 2-week sprint. So it is basically presented in the sprint review. And also An increment will be considered as an increment only when it meets the definition of done. But what's that? No worries, let's discuss that now. What is definition of done? As the name suggests, if something is done, what's the definition behind that? If I'm considering something as completed, so I must have certain criterias or factors for that. So same way, we have a definition of done for every increment. It will help us to provide an understanding of what work got completed, and also we will not get deviated from what we had to create as part of the increment, because we had a list of things to follow, right? So every developer, no matter what, they have to comply to the definition of done. Also, there can be chances when there can be multiple scrum teams working together, so they should ensure that they comply and like they define and comply to a single definition of done. All right, I think we have pretty much covered everything which I decided to talk about today. So if you have reached to this slide of this video, I would suggest you to subscribe our channel. For any comments or any suggestion, feel free to reach out to me, or you can comment your suggestions in the comment box. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.